Hello everyone, it's Joe again. My presentation today is on pinball restoration. What we have here, or what I have here in front of me, is a machine, a pinball machine called Spooky. Kind of obvious by the name on the back glass, but Spooky was made in 1986. It was made by a company called Zakaria. I purchased this from a collector of almost all sorts of things that was bringing container loads of all sorts of stuff from Europe, and he was throwing it all into a almost abandoned warehouse in Ohio. And we went through this warehouse and started pulling out some of the things we wanted after we had talked to him for quite some time. And not only this machine, but some of the others that I have down the row here. This machine was in really bad shape when we received it. Very much like you'll see on those American Pickers TV shows and some other areas where people are finding in storage units all these old pinball machines. The reality is most pinball machines that are available still on the market are in really rough shape. This one was missing this part. Very often they get broke. That originally almost all machines, at least the older machines, are all made out of glass with silk screen paint, or in some cases the really old ones hand painted on the back of it. If they aren't stored in ideal conditions, what will often happen is that paint flakes off, and then you get a back glass that is often missing or just not worth trying to recover. In this case, because it didn't exist, and this machine is kind of rare, I couldn't find a back glass on this side of the ocean that wasn't like $600 or $700 for somebody who's trying to sell it, if you could find it. So what I did was I talked to collectors. There's a collector network in this, and I purchased what's called a translate. I had a printing company make this area here. I just used a very high definition JPEG photo, and they printed this so that it looks like the original, but that's plastic. So as close as I can get to the original part of the machine without going broke, trying to make it all original again. Another area here is these areas here called the displays, where you see your score and the scores of all the others you're playing with. And this was a 4-player game. Had a little feature on it, or has a little feature on it that makes the eyes of the owl move at certain parts of the game. That applies to the appeal. It makes people want to play it, but these displays are really hard to find because they're fluorescent displays. They're really high voltage displays, and they tend to wear out or break down over time. So finding them original ones in good condition is a little hard to do. On top of that, when you open the machine, excuse my back for a second, is the control boards. The control boards in these machines, this is the CPU, the switching board, power supply, and soundboard. These are all missing as well. And working through collectors, I got many of these boards or a couple of these boards out of a collector in Philadelphia who was tearing machines down for parts that was just too far gone to restore. And little bits here and there. You talk to people around the country and talk to to their friends. Eventually you find what you're looking for, and you can find all the little pieces that you need to put it all together. So in the end, once I put this back together again, another thing you have to be concerned with, and again, excuse my back, is the playfield. Under the glass here is the playfield. Normally those are, because of poor maintenance on machines as they're used over the years, they'll wear out quite a bit. With the pinball, which is basically a big steel bearing, will pick up dust and grit, and it'll wear the paint off. When we got this machine, you couldn't even see the playfield. There was so much grime and dust on it. I think the glass was missing, if I recall. We were lucky in this one though, because once we cleaned away all the glass, or all the grit and grime, the original playfield showed up with very little wear on the paint. One of the reasons for that is, I think I mentioned this is an Italian machine. The Italians in their pinball machines used paint that had lead in it, so it was lead-based paint. And with lead-based paint, although there are bad side effects to it, obviously, that we all know about, it doesn't wear as much as the latex paints that were used in the United States. So what you got was a playfield that came up very well without a lot of wear on it, where you had to do touch-ups and match the fading of the colors, and which is a very difficult thing to do. It takes a very practiced eye to be able to do it, and I don't have. So I was lucky on this machine. So in the end, what you end up with is a machine that allows you to, if you spend enough time on it and you work at it over the years, you end up with a final product that looks very much like the day it came out of the factory. This is what most pinball restorers really live for, is the ability to take something from a generation or two or three or four and be able to bring it back to look like the day it came out of the factory, so that future generations and current generations can enjoy it once again. One of the things about pinball, it's not like a video game. Pinballs are not predictable. They can jump up, they can hop, they can move all over, and being good at it is something like a pinball wizard is what everyone talks about, but being good at it is something that's very, very difficult to do. So I hope you enjoyed this video as much as I did. The machine's talking over me. I hope you enjoyed this video as much as I did making it, and hopefully you'll go out and play some pinball. There are still a lot around, and it's a good pastime. Thank you.